I have a chance to be something, to make a difference. They may come for me, but they'll be expecting Raz, the boy. But what they'll find, what they don't expect, is Raz, the Psychonaut. Oh, come on, this was the best Raz cosplay I could do on short notice. Well, it's that time of year again. Cobwebs are up, spooky, scary times are abound, and, literally no change to the set. Damn budget cuts. But in this time of frights and chills, one thing many people like to do is watch their favorite Halloween movie. Now, mine, with the exception of Cabin in the Woods, because it's a little too new, would have to be The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know, it's something about that childhood innocence with the dark themes that really fascinates me. So naturally, this year, I wanted to find a video game that both highlighted the creepiness and the innocence of the season. It actually is a game that I've loved for a while, and I hope you do too. A game called Psychonauts. Let me set the stage for you. The game takes place at Whispering Rock's Psychic Summer Camp, a camp for junior psychics to hone their abilities. Telekinesis, pyrokinesis, invisibility, clairvoyance, etc. The ultimate goal of which is to become one of the Psychic Task Force, also known as Psychonauts. The game stars Rasputin, or Raz for short, who ran away from his home at the circus to go and sneak into this camp. From there, mystery after mystery of the camp is revealed, leading to a giant conspiracy in which only Raz can save the day. Now, I know that summer camp doesn't seem like the most exciting place to have a video game set in, but one of the most clever aspects of Psychonauts comes from its level design. You see, main area aside, the entire game takes place within the minds of the various characters you meet. Meet a camp counselor? Get in their head. Meet a crazy guy? Get in their head. Meet a giant lungfish? Get in their head. Now, while this is an incredibly unusual choice for a game, it pays off in a bunch of different ways. One of them being the world theming. You see, the collectibles you find in many platform games have been replaced with figments of the character's imagination. Go into the coach's mind? Everything's a battle zone, and soldiers are his figments. Go into the mind of a paranoid wreck? Things like trees and mailboxes are his figments. There are also memory banks, which tell you more of the backstory of the person whose mind you're in. This, accompanied by some incredibly clever level design, almost feels like a walk through Disney World, with every mind feeling distinct and cohesive. But this is also an ingenious way to flesh out the characters. From here on, there will be spoilers for Sasha 9, and later, Mia Videla. So let's talk about Sasha 9 for a second. Sasha is the first counselor that Raz really interacts with. He believes that Raz has a lot of untapped potential, so he brings him into his mind for advanced training. In this mind, everything is neat and organized, and anything that doesn't fit the pattern is obliterated. That is, until you let things run rampant and things go crazily out of control. From there, the rest of the level is all about trying to get everything back in order. And it leads to a boss fight with all of these repressed feelings of Sasha being personified as a giant hulking monster. And while an overly neat and organized character isn't that uncommon in game narratives, it's when you get to his memory banks that things start to get interesting. Here you find out that Sasha's mother passed away when he was very little. His father went into a severe depression about this, while Sasha, now a young boy, developed the ability to see others' thoughts. He used this to see what his mother was like from his father's perspective, and accidentally saw a little too much. He then ran away from home and supposedly vowed to keep his mind in check at all times because of that traumatizing experience. And almost every character gets this fleshed out, between backstory and their own mind's aesthetic. This is some pretty effective character development, all optional yet freely available to the player if they choose to seek it out. In other words, this game rewards those who want to find more depth in the narrative. Now I know what you're thinking. I promised a Halloween game, and I didn't deliver. But that's the other great aspect to this game. It has an incredible way of balancing lighthearted quirkiness and dark storylines. The villain's plan is to steal and harvest all of the brains of every camper at Whispering Rock. That's pretty terrifying on paper. but the game balances funny and witty writing to keep it lighthearted. I mean, the villain is a dentist in a shower cap. How can you not love that? Yet I should mention that the game never gets so absurd that it moves into overly silly territory. It keeps the stakes relatively high while balancing and maintaining a sense of childlike wonder and fun.
Lily, a deranged madman is building an army of psychic death tanks to take over the world, and there's no one who can stop him, except for you and me!
Oh my god! Let's make out!
What?
And before anyone complains that I'm looking into this too much, 1, did you even see the name of the show? And number 2, subject Mia Vidello. Though originally shown to be pretty carefree and fun in the main game, her backstory is incredibly dark. It involves an orphanage she took care of burning to the ground with the children still trapped inside. Being psychic, she could hear every child screaming in her mind. Supposedly, denying it all with her carefree persona is the only way to push the screams out of her head. Yeah, from the same game as...
You have to promise me, only use your power, pyrokinesis, only when it's very, very important, or it's really, really entertaining. And if you're doing it to impress girls, make sure none of them have on a lot of hairspray.
You see what I mean about this game going back and forth? So, is this a Halloween game after all? Maybe not in the strictest definition of a Halloween classic, but it uses a dark and spooky atmosphere, along with fun and quirky humor, all while presenting a compelling and engaging character study for every mind that you visit. The game uses trick and treat in equal parts to create the equivalent of a campfire ghost story, one that uses humor rather than jump scares to get you through the narrative, all while still creating that looming sense of danger. And in my opinion, that is one great story to tell on All Hallows Eve. I put a link to the game down in Hyrule. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And for those that are wondering why I didn't do Costume Quest, the game from the same developers that is Halloween themed, it's because I actually thought this was really interesting to talk about.